Welcome to Quiz Cues. This is amazing. Are you ready to play Cluephoria? Today, we're playing the 8th edition of Who Am I? Guess the 35 famous band members from 3 clues. If you like these quizzes and want to see more, please subscribe. It encourages me to create new content for you to enjoy. Thank you. Are you ready? Let's go! Who am I? I was a guitarist who fronted one of the biggest bands of the 1990s. My unkempt blonde hair became the signature look of the 1990s grunge movement. My band's hit, Smells Like Teen Spirit, became the anthem of disaffected youth worldwide. Kurt Cobain. He was an American guitarist whose raw songwriting defined the Seattle grunge movement. He fronted Nirvana, and their anthem became the soundtrack of a generation that embraced messy authenticity over polished stardom. His tragic passing at age 27 transformed underground rock into a commercial juggernaut that still dominates alternative radio. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose dark theatrical style helped invent heavy metal in the 1970s. My nickname, the Prince of Darkness, became synonymous with wild rock theatrics. My band's song, Iron Man, still opens football stadiums with its crushing guitar riff. Ozzy Osbourne. He was a British singer whose haunting voice defined the birth of heavy metal. He fronted Black Sabbath, and his theatrical persona earned him a dark royal nickname in rock history. His decades-long career spans from pioneering a genre to becoming a beloved reality TV patriarch. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose band fused reggae rhythms with rock in the late 1970s. My golden blonde, spiky hair and intense stare became instantly recognizable worldwide. My band's hit, Every Breath You Take, became one of the most played songs in radio history. Sting. He was a British musician whose work with the Police made him one of rock's most distinctive voices. His reggae-infused trio produced the most played radio song ever, and his visual style defined an era. His solo career, spanning jazz and world music, has earned him multiple Grammy Awards and global acclaim. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose top hat and curly black hair hid one of rock's most famous faces. My blistering solos on a Les Paul helped define the sound of 1980s hard rock. My band's album Appetite for Destruction became the best-selling debut record in American history. Slash. He was a British-American guitarist whose searing riffs made him the face of Guns N' Roses. His iconic silhouette, complete with hat and cigarette, remains one of rock's most recognizable images. His post-Guns N' Roses career includes a successful solo project and collaborations with legends across every genre. Who am I? I was a bassist whose band's thunderous sound redefined hard rock in the 1970s. My group's epic Stairway to Heaven remains the most requested rock song in history. I was the quiet multi-instrumentalist who arranged the orchestral layers on our biggest hits. John Paul Jones. He was a British bassist whose bass lines and keyboard arrangements formed the backbone of Led Zeppelin's massive sound. His classically trained ear helped craft the orchestral layers on the band's most epic compositions. He later scored films and performed with a modern supergroup, proving his influence stretched far beyond the 70s. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose Irish band became one of the biggest rock acts on earth. My signature wraparound sunglasses became the visual symbol of my global humanitarian campaigns. My band's album, The Joshua Tree, turned American landscapes into spiritual rock anthems. Bono. He is an Irish singer whose voice fronted U2 through 4 decades of arena-filling hits. His blend of spiritual lyrics and political activism made him one of the most recognizable figures in modern music. His humanitarian campaigns have taken him from the White House to refugee camps, earning him a Nobel nomination. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose British band turned the power chord into the foundation of rock opera. My signature windmill strumming destroyed more guitar strings than any player before me. My band's rock opera, Tommy, became the first album of its kind to reach mainstream audiences. Pete Townsend. He is a British guitarist whose explosive stage presence defined The Who's legendary sound. His windmill power chords and conceptual ambition helped elevate rock from dance music to high art. He survived a notorious hotel room explosion and later became a respected author and opera composer. Who am I? I was a bassist whose band Smoke on the Water riff taught millions their first guitar lick. My group's fusion of classical organ and heavy distortion created the blueprint for metal. I wrote the lyrics about a burning casino that became our band's most famous radio hit. Roger Glover. He is a British bassist whose steady grooves anchored Deep Purple through their most iconic era. He wrote the lyrics about a burning casino that became the most famous guitar riff in rock history. His production work and songwriting helped shape the sound that bridged hard rock and heavy metal. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose New Jersey band dominated MTV and radio throughout the 1980s. My feathered hair and tight leather pants became the visual blueprint for hair metal frontmen. My band's anthem, Livin' on a Prayer, still fills every karaoke bar on Saturday night. John Bon Jovi. He is an American singer whose band's polished rock anthems defined the 1980s mainstream sound. His New Jersey group dominated MTV and their power ballad became the ultimate karaoke sing-along. His enduring career spans from stadium rock to acting and philanthropy, keeping him a household name. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose British band created some of the most cinematic albums in rock. My soaring emotional solos on Comfortably Numb are studied by guitar students worldwide. I stepped into the spotlight after our original creative visionary left the band in 1985. David Gilmour. He is a British guitarist whose lyrical playing guided Pink Floyd to massive global success. His haunting vocals and emotional solos on The Dark Side of the Moon remain legendary. He took the reins after the band's original visionary, Syd Barrett, departed and led them to continued greatness. Who am I? I was a drummer whose band's avant-garde sound influenced every alternative movement that followed. My group's first album, produced by Andy Warhol, became the most influential flop in rock history. I played standing up using mallets instead of sticks, creating a primal tom-heavy beat. Maureen Tucker. She is an American drummer whose unconventional style helped the Velvet Underground forge a new musical language. Her standing mallet technique and minimalist approach influenced generations of indie and alternative musicians. She later worked as a paralegal, and her drumming style remains a touchstone for modern indie rock. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose Boston band brought hard rock back to the top of the charts. My enormous mouth and colorful scarves on the microphone stand became my trademark look. My band's power ballad, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, soundtracked an asteroid disaster film. Steven Tyler. He is an American singer whose elastic voice made Aerosmith one of rock's most enduring acts. His flamboyant stage presence and legendary partnership with guitarist Joe Perry defined the Boston sound. His power ballad for an asteroid disaster film became the band's first #1 hit on pop radio. Who am I? I was a drummer whose Bay Area band turned thrash metal into a global phenomenon. My aggressive double-kick drumming defined the thunderous rhythm of an entire metal genre. My band's Black album crossed over from metal clubs to mainstream stadiums in 1991. Lars Ulrich. He is a Danish drummer whose co-founding of Metallica helped transform underground thrash into a mainstream powerhouse. His pioneering double bass technique and business vision guided the band to becoming the biggest metal act ever. He became an avid art collector, and his passion for jazz influenced his unique drumming style. Who am I? I was a drummer whose band's swampy guitar sound defined the American roots rock of the 1960s. My group's hits Proud Mary and Bad Moon Rising still dominate classic rock radio today. I formed a duo with our bassist after our band split, releasing albums under our own names. Doug Clifford. He is an American drummer whose solid backbeat powered Creedence Clearwater Revival's string of timeless hits. His post-band work with bassist Stu Cook kept the signature swamp rock sound alive for decades through Creedence Clearwater Revisited. His drumming on those classic singles still defines the sound of American roots rock. Who am I? I was a multi-instrumentalist whose Minneapolis sound blended funk, rock, and pop into perfection. My purple suits, high heels, and androgynous style made me one of music's most visual icons. My album and film Purple Rain became the definitive statement of 1980s pop culture. Prince. He was an American musician whose staggering talent redefined popular music across 4 decades. His flamboyant persona and prolific output cemented his status as one of the most innovative artists ever. He played every instrument on his debut album and won an Oscar for his semi-autobiographical film. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose California band created the soundtrack to endless summers and surf culture. My group's harmonies on Good Vibrations pushed recording technology to its absolute limit. I was the cousin who co-founded the band and sang lead on our very first surf hit. Mike Love. He is an American singer whose distinctive nasal voice helped shape the Beach Boys' iconic California sound. His leadership kept the group's touring legacy alive through decades of changing musical landscapes. He later became a devoted practitioner of transcendental meditation and continued touring well into his 80s. Who am I? I was a keyboardist whose band turned dark electronic pop into stadium-filling anthems. My group's album, Violator, produced hits like Personal Jesus and Enjoy the Silence. I was the classically trained musician who engineered our signature industrial soundscapes before leaving in 1995. Alan Wilder. He is a British musician whose technical mastery helped elevate Depeche Mode to global stardom. His departure in 1995 marked the end of an era for the band's most creatively fertile period. He launched a successful solo project after departing, and his production work influenced dark electronic music. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose raw, bluesy wail made me one of the most powerful voices of the 1960s. My wild hair, round glasses, and beaded necklaces embodied the free spirit of the counterculture. My posthumous album, Pearl, became my definitive statement after I died at the age of 27. Janis Joplin. She was an American singer whose volcanic voice and uninhibited stage presence broke barriers for women in rock. Her tragic death at 27 only magnified her legend as one of the most soulful performers ever. Her painted Porsche became a rolling work of art, and her influence paved the way for female rock stars. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose British band pioneered theatrical progressive rock in the early 1970s. My elaborate costumes and face paint made our live shows the most theatrical in rock history. I left my band to launch a solo career that produced Sledgehammer and world music exploration. Peter Gabriel. He is a British singer whose creative vision transformed Genesis into progressive rock pioneers. His groundbreaking solo career and humanitarian work with world music earned him a reputation as an innovator. His stop-motion video for a solo hit became one of the most played clips on MTV ever. Who am I? I was a bassist whose British band fused punk energy with reggae, rock, and political fury. My group's album London Calling is regularly cited as one of the greatest records ever made. I smashed my bass on stage at Penny Smith's camera, creating punk's most iconic photograph. Paul Simonon. He is a British bassist whose aggressive playing helped make The Clash more than just a punk band. His famous instrument-smashing moment on the cover of their most celebrated album remains punk's most iconic image. He later became a respected painter, and his visual art has been exhibited in galleries across Europe. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose electrifying stage presence earned me the title Queen of Rock and Roll. My high heels, leather miniskirts, and explosive hair became symbols of female empowerment in music. My comeback hit, What's Love Got to Do With It, made me a bigger star in my 40s than my 20s. Tina Turner. She was an American-Swiss singer whose resilience and explosive energy made her one of the most dynamic performers ever. Her triumphant solo comeback in the 1980s became one of music's greatest reinvention stories. She won 8 Grammy Awards as a solo artist, and her autobiography became a blockbuster film. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose band's soap opera relationships produced some of rock's biggest albums. My finger-picking style on Go Your Own Way gave our records a distinctive California pop sheen. My tumultuous, romantic, and creative partnership with our lead singer fueled our most famous album. Lindsey Buckingham. He is an American guitarist whose meticulous production work shaped Fleetwood Mac's classic sound. His complex relationship with Stevie Nicks and the band's interpersonal drama became the stuff of rock legend. He left the band in 1987 amid creative tensions, then returned in the late 1990s to help them sell out arenas once again. Who am I? I was a keyboardist whose Florida band's Heartland rock sound filled American radio for decades. My group's hits Free Fallin' and American Girl became timeless staples of classic rock. I was the founding member who played Hammond organ on nearly every track we ever recorded. Bedmont Tench. He is an American keyboardist whose Hammond organ work provided the signature texture behind Tom Petty's Heartbreakers. His steady presence on every major album made him the band's musical anchor for over 4 decades. He has played sessions for everyone from Johnny Cash to Bob Dylan, making him a studio legend. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose sneering punk attitude and pop hooks made me an MTV superstar. My platinum blonde spiky hair and leather jacket became one of the most copied looks of the 1980s. My fist-pumping anthem, Rebel Yell, made me the poster child for rebellious British rock in America. Billy Idol. He is a British singer whose punk roots and polished pop rock sound made him one of the 1980s most recognizable stars. His smearing lip curl and bleached hair remain iconic symbols of the decade's rebellious energy. He survived a serious motorcycle accident, and his comeback cemented his status as a new wave survivor. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose British band became the biggest rock and roll act on the planet. My ragged look, skull rings, and legendary survival made me the ultimate symbol of rock decadence. My open-tuned riff on Start Me Up became the sound of every sports arena in the world. Keith Richards. He is a British guitarist whose raw riffing helped the Rolling Stones define rock and roll for 6 decades. His seemingly indestructible constitution and legendary lifestyle have made him a cultural icon beyond music. He published a best-selling memoir, and his recipe for a certain breakfast cocktail became legendary in its own right. Who am I? I was a bassist whose San Francisco band's improvisational jams created a devoted nationwide following. My group's dancing bear imagery became the symbol of an entire American counterculture movement. I was the classically trained musician who helped found the band and played every show for 30 years. Phil Lesh. He is an American bassist whose jazz-influenced playing helped shape the Grateful Dead's exploratory sound. His founding role and continuous presence made him a central figure in the band's legendary live legacy. He later founded a music venue and a charitable organization dedicated to organ donation education and awareness. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose New York band helped bridge punk grit with new wave polish. My platinum blonde hair made me one of the most photographed women in rock history. My band's hit Heart of Glass turned disco beats into a #1 new wave smash. Debbie Harry. She is an American singer whose striking looks and versatile voice made Blondie one of the most influential bands. Her crossover from punk clubs to pop charts paved the way for countless female-fronted acts. She later became an acclaimed actress, and her band's fusion of disco and punk changed radio forever. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose powerful scream led one of the biggest hard rock bands of the 1980s. My flat cap and working-class persona replaced a legendary singer who died tragically young. My band's album, Back in Black, became the second best-selling album in history after my debut. Brian Johnson. He is a British singer whose gritty vocals and flat cap became the new face of AC/DC. His debut album with the band became one of the best-selling records of all time. He was a former upholsterer, and his distinctive cap became as iconic as the band's lightning bolt logo. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose band's powerful vocals and acoustic intros created 1970s rock classics. My group's hits, Barracuda and Crazy on You, showcased one of rock's greatest female frontwomen. I was the original lead guitarist who left after our first few platinum albums in the late 1970s. Roger Fisher. He is an American guitarist whose inventive playing helped establish Heart as a major force in 1970s rock. His departure after the band's early success marked the end of their original creative lineup. He later formed the band Roger Fisher and the Human Tribe with his brother Mike. Who am I? I was a vocalist whose British band's gender-bending style made us 1980s pop sensations. My colorful braids, makeup, and androgynous fashion made me one of MTV's most talked about stars. My band's hit Karma Chameleon spent 3 weeks at #1 with its infectious reggae pop beat. Boy George. He is a British singer whose flamboyant style and soulful voice made Culture Club one of the 1980s most beloved bands. His gender-bending image and chart-topping hits helped redefine pop culture attitudes toward identity and expression. He later became a successful DJ, and his reality TV appearances introduced him to a new generation. Who am I? I was a guitarist whose band's soaring power ballads became the soundtrack to every 1980s prom. My melodic shredding on Don't Stop Believin' created the most downloaded rock song of the digital age. I was the only member who played on every single album during our band's entire career. Neil Schon. He is an American guitarist whose soaring leads helped Journey become one of the best-selling rock bands ever. His continuous presence through every lineup change made him the band's sole constant musical voice. He was a teenage prodigy who played with Santana before forming the band that defined arena rock. Who am I? I was a drummer whose British band's gloomy sound and teased hair defined 1980s gothic rock. My group's hits Just Like Heaven and Love Song balanced dark moods with irresistible pop melodies. I was the childhood friend who co-founded the band before switching from drums to keyboards. Lol Tolhurst. He is a British musician whose early drumming helped shape The Cure's signature atmospheric sound. His childhood friendship with Robert Smith and role as a founding member anchored the band's most influential era. He later wrote a memoir about his recovery, and his friendship with the frontman survived decades of turmoil. Who am I? I was a keyboardist whose Los Angeles band's dark poetic sound defined the 1960s psychedelic era. My electric organ bass lines and haunting melodies created a cinematic backdrop for our singer's wild poetry. I co-founded the band after meeting our legendary frontman on a California beach in film school. Ray Manzarek. He was an American keyboardist whose innovative organ playing provided the foundation for The Doors' hypnotic sound. His chance meeting with Jim Morrison on Venice Beach sparked one of rock's most fascinating partnerships. He later became a film producer, and his memoir about the band became a definitive oral history. Who am I? I was a drummer whose New York band's quirky art rock made us pioneers of the new wave movement. My group's concert film Stop Making Sense is widely considered the greatest rock documentary ever filmed. I married our bassist and later formed a separate band that topped the charts with Genius of Love. Chris France. He is an American drummer whose steady danceable beats powered Talking Heads through their most innovative period. His marriage to bassist Tina Weymouth and later success with Tom Tom Club expanded his influence beyond new wave. He and his wife still perform together, and their Funky Side project became a hip-hop sampling staple. Who am I? I was a bassist whose Texas band's Blues Boogie and Longbeards made us instantly recognizable. My group's hit La Grange and its signature guitar riff became the sound of southern rock bars everywhere. I was the bassist who sang lead on Tush and played a bass covered in fake fur. Dusty Hill. He was an American bassist whose solid grooves and legendary beard made him a recognizable figure in ZZ Top. His decades-long partnership with Billy Gibbons created one of rock's most enduring and visually iconic bands. He was the bassist whose voice graced their biggest hit, and his fur-covered instrument became a stage trademark. Did you keep track of your score? Post it in the comments. Thanks for playing Who Am I? See you in the next game.